I wanted to be at Texas State. I chose to be at Texas State. I'm from Texas. That was important to me. I always knew if the right guy got this job, you better watch out.
You better watch out. This is Win Now or Get Bent, episode 191. If you don't already know, I'm Kev Tardello, coming to you on Monday, June 9th, and we've got a mailbag. Oh, it's been a long time since I've heard from you sickos, so it's great to crack open this mailbag. I thumbed through it a little bit just before I started recording. I try not to over prep for the mailbag. It's way more genuine when you come off the cuff a little bit with it, but I had to look through it and make sure there's not anything I had to do a ton of research on. And I also wanted to see what we missed, because over the weekend there was some more news for Texas State. New Bobcats, jersey numbers for the players on the football team, and of course, Bubbas Cup winner for the third time in 4 years, Texas State Athletics. Congratulations to Texas State Athletics. Don Coryell, the athletic director, Dr. Kelly Damphus, the president of the school. They've done a lot to elevate athletics here, and it is shown through compared to the rest of the Sun Belt teams. That's for sure. Good stuff there. We'll definitely talk more about that. Before we get there, this episode is brought to you by TGC LLC, thegalindocollective.com. That's GALINDO, thegalindocollective.com, a team of professional consultants dedicated to helping others realize their business potential through people, planning, and practice. Their services cover a wide range of areas such as business strategy, marketing, human resources, and financial planning. If you own property or a business and want to maximize its profitability, contact TGC at thegalindocollective.com and follow their social media platforms on Twitter at TGC_LLC and on Instagram and Facebook at the Galindo Collective. Shout out to my guy, Rick Galindo, a true Tech State sicko, a Tech State grad himself. He's been with us for a long time. He's gotten us to a lot of places on location, whether it's New Orleans, Dallas. He's always got us there. He has us again in 2025. We are so happy to be partnering with TGC LLC for the 2025 season. Check them out again, thegalindocollective.com. That's GALINDO, galindocollective.com. And we got one more little ad. We'll see if Webb puts up a banner for this one. But we're gonna have a Wizard Wednesdays coming up, a new series here at Win Now or Get Bent. It's gonna come out every Wednesday as per the title, with our great producer, Zachary Webb. He's going to be giving his thoughts on things in and around Texas State, whatever he's feeling, whatever he's thinking. He's going to come up with this segment. This has been something I have been wanting him to do for a long time. It's taken, over 2 years now for him to, we'll have him on. He and I have chatted a little bit on an episode, but this is good because I really want you to hear his thoughts. He's probably my most trusted confidant over the last couple of years when it comes to anything Texas State. He's somebody I want to pick his brain. I'm like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that quarterback? What do you think about this situation? What do you think about moving to the Pac-12, which is actually what he's going to be talking about on that Wednesday episode. Why would the Pac-12 be a great move for Texas State? Zachary Webb has the answer for you, and he wants to hear from you too. He wants to debate you a little bit. If you disagree, get in there, get in the comments, come at him. He's got thick skin, thick enough at least. You can get in there and debate him a little bit if you think the Bobcats should stay in the Sun Belt. I know there is a faction of people that do feel staying in the Sun Belt's the right option. Should they move to the Pac-12? Should they at least win the Sun Belt before they move on? It's a highly debated topic that we will hear from Zachary Webb on Wednesday talking about it. So look out for that. Wizard Wednesdays. I hope the graphic is on the video right now as I'm saying it. Webb, I'm telling you, put it up. Let's do it. Let's advertise this deal, because I've already heard what it's about, and it's very much worth your time. Go check it out. All right, let's get to these Bobcats. I mentioned at the top the Bubas Cup. We'll talk more about that because I know there's a question about track and field had a lot to do with the Bubbas Cup, and that's an award, the Vic Bubbas Cup. It's given annually there's a point system across all athletics for every team in the Sun Belt, and whoever gets the most points is awarded the Bubbas Cup. And the Bobcats have been taking that deal home pretty often recently. It's good stuff. And we'll circle back to that and talk more about track and field because I know there are some questions there. because I'm trying to, at least somewhat get through it a little quick because I know I can be long-winded when it comes to mailbags specifically. I don't ever want to shortchange you when you take the time to ask a question. So, but who knows? If it gets too long, I've got my pages with questions on my phone. I took screenshots of all your questions. If I get through halfway through it and we're over a half hour, we might two-part this one. So we'll see. We'll get through it. But we'll talk more about the Bubba's Cup here in a second. Let's talk about jersey numbers before we get into the questions. A little prelim before we answer some questions. So, as many of you know, Texas State with GJ Kinney, they don't assign numbers in the spring. You watch the spring game, you're like, who is that? I think that might be, is that Nate Yarnell? Is that Holden Grenier? Who knows? Who knows what's going on out there? It's actually pretty easy to tell because Nate Yarnell's 6'6". Well, there's some things you can tell, but for the most part, it's pretty hard, especially in the trenches and everything. So you don't get to see numbers because they have to earn it. The very coveted single-digit numbers in college football, where that is anointed to who the coaches who deem as players that have really shown themselves in practice, and they really foresee them being in the rotation pretty heavily come the season. So let's get to it. Let's go through. We won't go through all 120 or however many are on this roster, but we'll go through some of the heavy hitters, look at some of the guys who change numbers real fast. But I've got the roster pulled up here, and right there at number 0, Tyron Jackson. Defensive end, 6'5", 235 pounds. We've talked a little bit about him on this pod. They brought him in before last season. He didn't play a whole lot. There was a lot of defensive ends, the position he's at, so that he wasn't getting a ton of playing time last year, but I know that they hyped him up in fall camp before the season and everything. Now they give him number 0. He's going into his senior year. I expect Tyron Jackson to get a lot of playing time this season after seeing that. It is very telling. You see these numbers and you're like, oh, these are the guys that are pretty high on their radar. They're giving them the single digits, especially the 0. The 0, I feel like on defense, it's pretty coveted. It's always nice to see it on the D-line too. The other number 0 on offense, Tyquilin Mims, wide receiver, coming in from Southern Miss. He's a transferred new player coming in, getting number 0. So watch out for him. I assume when you see the 0, you see him in the rotation quite a bit. Number 1 on defense, new number for Bobby Crosby, coming back for his senior year. He's a safety. We know about Bobby Crosby, much needed experience, a player who's been all 3 years with this Kinney regime, playing under Dexter McCoyle last year, safety himself. So it's nice to see him get that number 1 for his senior season. Made a lot of great plays in the bowl game and everything. The other number 1 on offense, Chris Don Jr., wide receiver. We know about him. Expect him. He could be the number 1 wide receiver coming in. He's going to have a lot of competition with some of these new players, and even Bo Sparks coming back, and it's going to be an interesting situation at the wide receiver position. Khalil Alexander wearing number 2. He was number 22 last year. He gets the upgrade to number 2 at defensive end. I think it could be Tyron Jackson and Khalil Alexander starting at that defensive end. Good for Khalil, another guy like Bobby Crosby who's been here the entire time for the Kinney regime, and he's done some terrific things in both bowl games. Somebody they relied on heavily, especially when Ben Bell, when he wasn't playing the rest of the season, they needed some guys to step up when there were other injuries happening. Khalil Alexander was there. Number 2 on offense, Kylan Evans. He's getting number 2, 6'2". He was a freshman last year, a true freshman. I think we're going to see a lot of the young guy there. Number 3 on offense, Maven Anderson, Cal transfer, getting the single digit. Number 3 on defense, Michael Boudin III. We talked a lot about him, where he moved from defensive back to linebacker. Now he's wearing number 3. He's Michael Boudin III, so it's pretty fitting there. Excited to see what he can do at linebacker at 6'4", 225 pounds. He was always a pretty big defensive back. Number 4 on offense, Torrance Burgess, running back, came in from UTEP. We've seen a lot from Deion Hankins. They came over together from UTEP. Deion Hankins doing things with the Chicago Bears. Now Torrance Burgess getting that single digit, probably going to get more in the rotation. Had some issues with fumbles, but outside of the fumbling, he had some terrific runs. It'll be good to see if he can get some more playing time this upcoming season. Number 4 on defense, Kamari Terrell from Oregon, the corner. Pretty excited about him when you get a player that is from a program of that caliber coming in. You imagine they're going to be pretty good. He's originally from Killeen, so he's one part of the Take Back Texas trend. Number 5, Darius Jackson. He's returning with that number, safety. Been here for 3 years now. Started out at Mizzou. Number 5, number stays the same as well. Jalen Jenkins, running back. Didn't see a whole lot of him last year's first year with the Bobcats, but now it seems like with Jenkins and Burgess, you're going to see an increase in their carries, especially with Perry there, but they also have Greg Burrell. There's a bit of a who's going to be the bell cow, if they even have one, because we've talked about it a lot. GJ Kinney and co. They like to use multiple running backs. Number 6 stays the same on defense. Jolazen Landry, defensive end. We know Joe Landry. We're going to see what he can do with increased playing time this season. We saw him get a little bit more increased. I think he's going to be right there competing for, if not the starting spot, he's going to be heavy in the rotation. He used a lot of D linemen, as we've talked about. Number 6 on offense is new. Keldrick Luster, SMU quarterback. Him getting the single digit is pretty interesting. Only 2 quarterbacks with the single digits. Keldrick Luster is one of them. That's the SMU transfer. Maybe he's a little higher on the depth chart than I anticipated. I had him 3, possibly even 4. Who knows? Maybe they're pretty high on Keldrick Luster. He's a guy that they brought in after spring practice when all the other quarterbacks on roster were here for spring ball. Number 7 stays the same on offense. Lincoln Perry. He's going to be back. Assume he's going to be a team captain. He was the MVP of the bowl game and everything. Awesome to have Lincoln Perry back for his senior year. Number 8 on offense stays the same. Brad Jackson, quarterback. We know Brad Jackson. Number 8 on defense is new, though. Cameron Washington. He's a returner at the interior defensive line where they very much need some returners. They give him the single digit. Good for Cam Washington. Number 9 on offense, Greg Burrell, running back from UNLV. He was a guy, he came in here, seemed like right after spring practice, he entered the transfer portal, then he got back out of the transfer portal. So it's good that they were able to secure him, and he's secured number 9 on offense. Number 9 on defense, Jaden Rios, first-year player, coming in from East Texas A&M at corner. 10, Javis Minette, also a new player, is coming in from Wofford at safety. And number 10 on offense, Tyron Smith, a surprise return of Tyron Smith. He started his career at Cincinnati. He played at UTEP. Real deal speedster, has a lot of experience. He was announced. I don't remember if he was officially announced, but he was at least committed to the Bobcats. And it seemed like, okay, he's going to sign in the first round of signing on National Signing Day and all of that. When they officially announced on signing day, here's all the guys that we picked up, and Tyron Smith wasn't there. I specifically asked about Tyron Smith, was just told he didn't make it. Don't know the situation there. He didn't elaborate further. Who knows what's happening with that situation, but they were able to work it out at the end of the semester, and now he's in the bag. So that's pretty big. It's great competition for that slot receiver spot. Cole Wilson off to Baylor, so they're going to need to have some good competition there. We'll go a little quicker now. Another round of the top 10. LJ Johnson from Texas Tech, the wide receiver. He's wearing number 12. Kennard Snyder from Iowa State and ULM. ULM last year. He's also wearing number 12. Holden Geriner is wearing number 13 on offense. Let's see. Donterry Russell, a player that they just announced not too long ago. He's wearing number 15. Let's see. Gavin Parkhurst has number 17. He's going to be a true freshman quarterback. Ty Stammy, the Louisiana tight end who transferred in. He's going to be wearing number 18, 6'6", 240 pounds on Ty Stammy, big kid. Nate Yarnell, the new quarterback, he's wearing number 19 himself. Let's see. Arvis Battle coming in, big tight end, wearing number 24. Yep. So it's great. Honestly, just pop on that roster on the Texas State website. Go scroll through it and check it out. You'll see some of these new guys. Emma Polisi Lange at number 99. He's back. Big defensive lineman from last year. Some of these new guys. Charlie Leota's listed. He's 98. DeVark Woods at 97. Bryce Carter, 96. Tyler Robles, the new kicker from USC, getting 95. JP Dieter, 91. That's the guy from Arizona State, the defensive lineman. So it's nice to see the numbers and what it's going to shape out to be, because you can almost put a pin that these guys, okay, they're going to play next year now. It's so up in the air with the NIL, with the transfer portal era and NIL and everything, guys coming in, guys coming out. It goes all the way through the summer. But for the most part, now that you're looking when they're assigned numbers and everything, it's like, okay, they're more than likely going to be there in fall camp. So it's very telling to look at the numbers and see who gets what. The only two single digits for quarterbacks, like I said. Keldrick Luster getting one. That's interesting. That'll be interesting development, the quarterback situation. We talked about that a lot on the last episode. So go tune in if you haven't to episode 190. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Great numbers on that one, especially after taking such a little break. It was great to come back and see how many of you tuned in. But let's jump into this mailbag before I get talking. I could scroll that roster all day and yap about it. I looked up and I'm like, I'm talking too long about it already. But let's get it going. We're going to start with our good friend Mason Flores at Big Mace 75 on Twitter. What's up, Mason? If you weren't covering the games, what would your perfect Bobcat tailgate look like? Love this question. What kind of food, drinks, music, activities? So I've been covering the Bobcat since I was in college. So I never really tailgated. There was a time when I was working for Bobcat Report when I was interning, where we'd go film things at the tailgate. That's the most I ever really got into it. I've never really gotten to imbibe in the libations and get nice and toasty before the game. But I'm always jealous looking at everybody do it. So this is something that it's fun for me to think about. I'll do it. There'll be a time I'll get to get a nice tailgate in. But food, drinks, music, music. I have a very eclectic taste in music. I'm part of the LimeWire generation, if you know what I mean by that, where we were able to download any music we wanted for free across all genres. So I like all genres. I can appreciate country, rock, rap as in equal parts. Not a big pop guy, but I feel like when you're at a tailgate or you're at a body of water, you got to play some country music. It just fits the atmosphere. I'm not always jamming country, but in those moments, definitely some good 90s country. As far as drinks, beer, I'm a beer guy. I'm not messing with liquor. I mean, it'll be nap time before I know it if I start drinking some liquor. I need a good hot dog at a tailgate. Love hot dogs, a grilled hot dog. Can't beat it. Can't beat a hot dog at a game either. That's the best part. And as far as activities, I'm a competitive guy. I think in my younger days, I would have said maybe some beer pong. That would be the move. But that'll cause a shorter day. The more beers you're drinking like that. So give me some cornhole. Yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to get competitive. I wanna compete. I want to play some games. So those are my activities for a tailgate. That's what I'd like to do for sure. Thank you, Mason. Thank you for letting me dream about a tailgate. I'll hit one up one day when I don't have to be sober, sitting in a press box. I'll be able to partake in one. Appreciate you, Mason. Looking forward to seeing you during the season. Next up, we have Number Cruncher, my guy Russell. What's up, Russell? Always good to hear from you. DraftKings has the Bobcats at 7.5 for the season. What say you? I think there's so many unknowns with the team. Even though there are a lot, it's going to be a new quarterback. I think a lot of that's it's gonna ride on that, how that whole situation is going to look. But even though there are a lot of new players, they have reached seven. They've gone over 7.5 the last two seasons. At least, I don't know what is DraftKings including the bowl game. Is this 7.5 regular season? Let me read that. It just says for the season. So if that's including bowl game, then I don't know why they wouldn't be able to reach that, get to 8. I think this team, the Sun Belt is pretty wide open. I think the Bobcats are going to be able to compete in this conference more so than in years past. There's just been a lot more changes around the Bobcats, and the Bobcats have stayed constant. Their roster hasn't, but their coaching staff has. And these guys, they're another season older. They're another year into this deal where it was before with GJ. That was last year going in. That was the first time he had been at a place for a consecutive year in his entire coaching career. Now he's here. He's settled. His third year into it. I think that they're a lot more comfortable. They've recruited really well. They lost players, but they brought in even more players. So I'm pretty confident that they're going to be able to get over that 7.5 to 8. I think they have a tough schedule when you look at it, especially when you look at it early on. Arizona State, UTSA. It's going to be tough because if you want to get there, you can't lose more than 5, 4. Because I don't know are they including the bowl in that 7.5. I feel like that matters to me. But hopefully that doesn't matter and they just get to double-digit wins. That's what we really want. I think this team, they've surprised me. I feel like I may have been a little more negative, like pre-spring, thinking about it, like, gosh, they're losing everybody, losing Ishmati, Joey Hobart, Jordan McLeod, Nash Jones. All these guys are gone. But they were really able to bring in some dudes. I don't know exactly what they look like. They didn't open up spring, but on paper, I mean, especially on the lines and everything on the offensive lines, they're really bringing in some guys. And you know what? I realized that speaking of bringing in guys, I skipped over one little part after I did the jersey numbers because I wanted to get into questions. They had another signee this past weekend, Kilgore offensive lineman Ituni Rapati, 6'5", 310 pounds, former Roadrunner. So another transfer, another offensive lineman coming in, adding to that depth. And I feel like depth is key at any level, any sport, really. I mean, I'm not reinventing the wheel by saying that, but you gotta have it. You gotta have that depth, and that's something that they very much understand, and they go out and try and get a ton of guys. Even if you're not a starter, you're gonna play with these coaches. So yeah, I feel like that's obtainable. I also want you to ask me that again a little closer to the season, maybe after I get a little bit more looks into fall camp and see how everything shakes out. But I am confident. I'm more confident than I was before spring. And even though I didn't get to see a lot of spring, and I saw the spring game, they don't have any numbers on them, but man, they still look big and they still look deep, and that's good. And they got more guys after spring, so. I am pretty confident in this season. I think GJ Kinney and co they really have this place going. We'll see how they elevate it from a tactician standpoint. Because I'll tell you what, as far as roster building, as far as getting out and getting ahead and getting a lead and getting wins in that way, that's been great. But this team, they've shown that they have to jump out to a lead and then try to hold on to it throughout the whole game. I want to see the evolution in these coaches and their development where they just control the whole game. You jump on them in the first half, you jump on them in the second half as well. So we still haven't seen a ton of that. I mean, even thinking back to the bowl game, that's a nitpick criticism. They're still winning. They're still getting the bowl games and everything. But I think if that's where they really want to ascend and win the conference, that's where it matters. Controlling the entire game. Always good to hear from you, Russ. Can't wait to see you this season. Next up, we have Jeff Walker at Jeff Walker 4905. How about that Bobcat track and field program? Sunbelt sweep. How about some love their way? Absolutely. Shout out to the Texas State track and field. We mentioned the Bubbas Cup. We're going to talk more about that now. This was the question that I saw there. Appreciate you asking it, Jeff. Hope you are well. Let's talk about the Bubbas Cup a little bit, and then we'll talk about track and field. So let's read this. This is straight from txst.com. The headline, Texas State wins back-to-back Sunbelt Conference Bubbas Cup. For the second consecutive season and the third in the last four, Texas State has won the Sunbelt Conference's Vic Bubbas Cup, which is presented annually to the league's top athletics department. The Bobcats won 5 conference championships during the 2024-2025 season, including the softball regular season title and volleyball tournament championship. They also won women's indoor and outdoor track and field and men's outdoor track and field championships. Additionally, Texas State finished in the top 4 in women's soccer, football, men's indoor track and field, and women's tennis. Excellence across the board, except basketball and baseball. Quote from, this is from Don Coryell, Texas State Athletics Director. Winning back-to-back Bubbas Cups is a significant achievement and a reflection of the dedication from our student athletes, coaches, support staff, Texas State President Kelly Damphus, and university administration, and our loyal Bobcats fans. We take pride in competing at the highest level in the Sunbelt Conference and nationally, and our commitment to excellence continues to grow. While we celebrate this season's success, we're already focused on the work ahead, end quote. A little more on the Bubbas Cup. Texas State finished with 152.5 points ahead of runner-up Arkansas State. That's right. See, get that rivalry going. Hate State. Hate A-State. I want that. You know, like I've said it before, 2 schools are on an island in this conference, and they're right there. They thought they had it wrapped up, and then track and field came in, took it away from them. Coastal Carolina was third at 124. Those were the top three. 2024-2025 total is a 22-point improvement from the Bobcats' league-leading total last season. So they would have won the Bubba's Cup over the Bobcats from last year. How about that? Texas State joined the Sun Belt Conference ahead of the 2013-2014 season, and since joining has won the second most Bubba's Cup titles behind South Alabama, 6, in that time. The Bobcats have won 9 All-Sports Conference Cups, including 5 in the Southland Conference from 1999 to 2000. I'm sorry, from 1999, 2000 to 2008-09. That was my first year, 2008-09, covering the Bobcats. Southland Conference champions in football. Last conference championship for football was then. So hats off to Texas State, the athletics department. What another banner year for this program, for all the programs, I should say. Track and field was a big part of that. Let's talk a little bit about track and field. We know Drew Donnelly. He was one of many great athletes on this track and field team. He won SBC Athlete of the Week back in April after a 10:26 in the 100-meter and a 20:51 in the 200-meter. Blazing speed. We always said they should have utilized him more, but at least they utilized him on the track and field. Bobcats heading to Nationals. Nationals is coming up. Actually starts this Wednesday. All through the weekend. Nationals coming up. So this is very timely, this question in this mailbag and everything. Tune in Wednesday. Don't forget to also tune into the Wizard Wednesday coming up as we advertise. Look out for that on the Win Now or Get Bit channel. But Chris Preddy is going for men's long jump and triple jump. Casey O'Reilly will be competing in men's high jump. Aiden Hayes will be competing in men's high jump. Laura Roberts will be competing in women's hammer throw. And Melanie Duran is in women's shot put. So that's coming up. 5 Bobcats and Nationals. It's terrific. Let's see. That will be in Eugene, Oregon, June 11th through the 14th. So look out for that. Hats off to the Bobcats. Season's not done. Bubba's Cup wrapped up, but the season's not done. Thank you very much, Jeff, for asking about track and field. I did need to get in there and talk about them. They had a great season. All right, this one's from our guy, Robert Garcia. What's up, Robert? Hope you are well. Saw you doing great stuff with the concessions. Can't wait to see you out there at the games next season. Who has the best chance of making an NFL roster from the current ones at camp? And who has the best shot at getting drafted next season on the current roster? I like that. Let's look ahead, the 2026 draft. I like where your head's at, Robert. As far as the current players, Nash Jones. It's kind of an easy answer for me. I feel like he's the most NFL ready of the 6 that we named on the last episode that we talked about. If there's a dark horse, a sneaky one, if you will, I'd say Deion Hankins. They're showing him a lot in the media, like social media. If they're showing pictures, you see number 35 out there looking big, 6 foot, 230 pounds. I mean, he's a hammer out there in the backfield, and he's somebody that was playing behind Ishmael. It's really hard to get a ton of touches when you're playing behind a guy like that. But you could always see the potential that was there. When he'd get some runs, he'd really break out. I think about that game where he was wearing number 88 because he usually wore number 33. There's one game, I guess the jersey was messed up when he was wearing number 88, and he tore it up. I can remember one big run where he had a bunch of guys hanging off him, and it's just like, that's an NFL back. I mean, even if it's your third down guy, your goal line guy, whatever. I mean, that's an NFL back. So shout out to Deion Hankins. I think he's got a good chance as well. I think all of them have a really good chance. I know some of them, they're just getting a tryout. It's not they haven't fully signed or anything yet. I feel like Hankins has signed. I know Nash Jones did sign. But like Joey Hobart, Jaden Williams, Jordan Polk, we'll see if they can break through and get in there. But I'm real high on Nash Jones. I think he's somebody that a lot of teams could have utilized. If I thought that the streak if it was gonna end, I knew it was gonna be tough. It's gonna be real tough to end that streak of players not getting drafted, Texas State players not getting drafted. But I thought if it was going to, Nash Jones had the closest chance, and it didn't happen. So I knew when he got signed, it's like he's making that roster. Knock on wood. Not trying to jinx the kid. What was the other part? Oh yeah, next year's draft. Who has the best chance of getting drafted on the roster right now? That's a good one. It's one that I feel like I have the answer. It's Tique Lockett. I'm going for another lineman, but he's great. He's a terrific interior offensive lineman. He came over from ULM before last year. I think he was second team All Sun Belt coming over from ULM. I've looked at his pro football focus grades, and I know that's not everything, but it means something. And he's got a pretty good one there. Tique Lockett, I think he's a terrific player. Maybe he's the one who breaks the streak. We'll see how this season goes because I feel like they're going to run the ball a lot more, especially with Jordan Shoemaker. He's a co-offensive coordinator now. That's the offensive line coach. That tells me that they're really thinking about running the ball a lot more. Ran into Jordan Shoemaker, my daughter's recital on Sunday. His daughter was dancing as well. So I didn't bug him. I didn't bug him too much. I shook his hand, but I didn't bug him with any questions. It was it's a family moment. But yeah, I really think they're going to run the ball, and if Tique Lockett is paving the way, and scouts see that, why wouldn't they draft him? He's got great size, great feet. I'm really high on Tique Lockett, and so are a lot of other people. I mean, I'm far from the only one. But thank you, Robert. Great question there. Great stuff. Hope you're well. Can't wait to see you again very soon. I'm sure sooner than later. My guy Landon Lynch at Landon Lynch 4 on Twitter. What's up, Landon? Hope you are well. Kev, what is your way too early prediction for the 2025 season? Does Texas State outperform back-to-back 8-5 seasons, stay the same, or take a step back? You see, right now it's so hard. Last year, I feel like I got a little too cocky, and I was like, double digits. They got it. Around this time into fall camp, I was like, double-digit wins. This is the year they're going to do it. And they fell short and then they lost a lot of those really good players that I thought were going to get them over that hump. So it's hard for me to fully subscribe to committing to saying they're going to win 10 games. That was a real roundabout way of saying that. I don't want to commit to it yet of saying 10 wins, but I also don't think they're going to have a decrease. I don't think they're going to have a major step back. I could see it falling around the same, especially with so many new parts coming in. I could see it landing still a winning record, but maybe not a complete success or double-digit win season. But it could materialize to that. I think a lot of that relies on Brad Jackson and some of these other quarterbacks. Who's going to be the starter? What does that look like? What style of offense do they bring? Is this one where it is going to look like what Jordan McLeod did, or is it going to look something different? Like when we'd see Brad Jackson get in there, they'd direct snap, run the ball. So there's a lot relying on that for me. But as of now, I don't see why. I don't see a reason why they would decrease in wins. Tougher schedule, maybe too many unknowns, but I really think that they were able to make up for the depth that they lost. But I appreciate you, Landon. That's another one, just like my one for Russ earlier. Ask me that one a little closer to the season in fall camp. I want to see some of these guys. Hopefully they open up fall camp at least a little bit. I don't got to see 11 on 11, but at least seeing the warm up, seeing what guys look like in their jerseys, see what they look like, some receivers look like in the pass drills and quarterbacks' arms, things like that. That's when you can tell a lot. And it doesn't seem like it would be a lot, but that's why I love you're going to hear from the Wizard on Wednesday. He and I we'll go to a practice and we'll put our heads together afterwards about what you see, what do you think, of who you think looks like they're going to be someone who's going to break through this rotation that we weren't thinking about. But yeah, thank you again, Landon. This one is from Goose, the Everything Bird, a new account for our guy Goose. Hold on, let's get his at. Oh wait, this is a screenshot, so I can't pull up your question. But you know what? I'll tell you what. That's going to be a good stopping point because we're gonna make this a double episode. So we're gonna stop here. We're gonna come back to the Goose's one in episode 2, and we'll have his at and everything. Check out our Patreon page, WNOGB.com. We got swag like the one that I'm wearing right here. This great shirt with the Mad Cat on it. Check out our channel on YouTube, Win Now or Get Bent. Check us out on Twitter at Win Now or Get Bent, on Instagram at WNOGB. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Help us grow, help us continue to move up and on. Thank you so much to TGC LLC. Thank you to the Wizard, Zachary Webb. Tune in on Wednesday. It's a lot of W's. I almost babbled over that one. But check it out. Wednesday, Wizards win day. And thank you, sickos, for tuning in. We would be shouting out into the void without you. And hang on, episode 2 coming up. So don't go too far. You'll be able to have it right here. Win now or get bent.